All right, Heidi Ho, Twins fans, welcome to the 50th episode of the Twins Off Daily podcast. I am Greg Masterson. I am holding down the fort today because we've been working on, and when I say we, I mean I have been working on something special. So today's episode, first day of the All-Star break, hopefully this gets out in time. It's taken a little bit longer for me to put together than I had hoped originally, but hopefully for your first day of the All-Star break in our All-Star Podnanza, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So what I did is over the first 50 episodes of the show, I've gone back and combed through different episodes and tried to find some of our favorite moments. Some of it was suggested by listeners. Some of it was the three of us trying to remember. We don't have the best memories, so there might be some good stuff that we missed. But what we've got set up for you for today is kind of a clip show of the first 50 episodes of the Twins Off Daily podcast. So before let's just get started. These next clips are going to be some of our favorite Greg's Gripes. But before we get into our Greg's Gripes, I want to take a moment to say thank you to all of you who are listeners. I'll be thanking you again a little bit later. I'll be checking back in at different points during this. But obviously, we couldn't have the 50 episodes of fun that we've had without you guys tuning in. And so I really appreciate it, whether this is the first time, whether you've been around for all 50 episodes. Thank you. Cody and Lou sent in some comments that they would like they would like me to read. The first one comes from Lou Hennessy. Lewis says, "We've reached the 50th episode mark, which means we've got to be close to being done by now." And Cody says, "I can't believe we don't have a Patreon yet." So anyway, enjoy.
Gregory's Gripes, a new segment. Gregory, please play that music again and dive right back into it.
A new segment? We just did a Gregory's Gripes last week. Do I need to complain harder?
No comment. Please, what is your next gripe, Greg?
Okay, so I've got a gripe. And this might honestly, I might be setting the bar too high here because this might be the most contentious gripe that I have ever had. And I don't know if I'll ever be able to top it.
That's saying something from you.
I hate bark in the park. There is no reason that we should be bringing dogs to a baseball field. Baseball is for people to watch other people play. I do not enjoy dogs who are bat boys. I do not enjoy the dogs that bring out the balls to the umpires. I think it's all a sick gimmick. Ty Cobb didn't die for this. People go to baseball games. Dogs don't. When are we going to have cats at the park? When are we going to have iguanas at the park? Why do dogs of all animals get to go? They're not Air Bud. If they were Air Bud, sure, but they're not. They can't play baseball. They don't understand it. Why are you dragging your dog to the park? The dog wants to go to the real park, the dog park, anything but sitting in concrete seats, watching you watch the game and then barking at each other. What's the point?
Oh boy, Betsy Helfand of the Pioneer Press. I can hear steam coming out of her ears because of how much she notably loves dogs. Gregory, that's a huge gripe, man. Just for one game a year, you can't allow dogs in the stadium. What's going on?
It's annoying. I love dogs, and I want to put that out there. I enjoy dogs. I don't have a dog. I hope to someday have a dog again, but I don't know. Oh, now I'm going to get into more, but this might be even worse. I don't like when the dogs are in the purses or the strollers or go to the store or whatever, unless, they're supposed to, unless, you have an accommodation, of course. But I just think that dogs take up too much of a place in Americans' lives, and bark at the park is just one more step. Listen, if I was a dog, the last thing that I would want to do is go to sit in a concrete stadium and watch people throw around balls that I can't go fetch. Okay? It's mean to the dogs.
You know what? I didn't think about it like that.
You do have a point there, but since I am in a ballpark where you can, in fact, bring a cat to the ballpark for anything on a leash and I mean anything. People have brought bearded dragons. They've brought snakes to CHS Field because that's what the Saints do. So you just got to get to a Saints game and bring your cat.
Wait, sorry. Do they, every game, you can just bring them in?
No, it's one game a year. It's just, instead of their bark in the park, it's anything on a leash. So infer to that
that's
as
actually
you will.
kind of funny.
Yeah. Infer to that what you will, but at the same time, people have brought snakes, which can't do that. They brought the bearded dragons and they brought their cats. So, just come to that game and that will make up for your gripe.
You know what? Somebody tried to bring bees to the Diamondbacks game last night. Why not? I mean, you can't put a leash on those, but I don't know.
Did you guys
Gregory,
see of the bee catcher who's like trained his whole life to not bee catcher, I guess, bee herder, bee farmer, beekeeper. There we go, a beekeeper. Like, can you imagine being a beekeeper? I've got a friend who's a beekeeper. I can't imagine like training your entire life to keep bees and then finally getting your moment in the sun to like go on a scissor lift and go remove bees in front of a stadium of I don't know how many thousand people there were last night. Like that guy, like that was the peak of his existence.
Dude, and he milked it. I don't know if you saw that. He was pumping up the crowd. They had an entrance music for him. I think they were playing I'm a Bee by Black Eyed Peas. Dude, I had a lot of fun with that, and I really want to see like a montage of that guy doing what he does to set to the tune of like One Shining Moment or something, because I love that guy got an opportunity. So that's awesome.
This edition of Gregory's Gripes is brought to you by baseball movies. Are you a movie maker who can't write a good script? Just make a baseball movie and get by on goodwill. Okay, so technically this was the Field of Dreams week. Anyway, that brings me to my topic. Field of Dreams is a terrible movie. I can't stand. I just got 2 nods from other people, but Lou did not nod. For those who are not looking, not watching the YouTube version of this. And I would just like to make my case for Field of Dreams being a miserable movie. First of all, just all baseball movies are just pretty bad by rule. They get by on goodwill. Even Little Big League, we love it because it's the Minnesota Twins. It's a decent movie, but it's not something I would ever watch if it wasn't a baseball movie about my team. So I don't get the love for it. I'll be the first one to say I bawl like a baby at the end. I do. It kills me inside. When he asks his dad to have a catch, I cry. I cry so much. But the movie itself is just 90 minutes of nothing. It's just it's a very meandering plot. I get that that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be jumping around. It's supposed to kind of be this confused guy, but there's no real like flow to anything. All the dialogue is just narrating what's going on, or giving exposition, like a little history report on Shoeless Joe Jackson, or saying things like, we're going to need to sell the farm. This was an insane thing that I just did. I watched this 3 days ago to make sure that I'm not overselling how bad this movie is. From a movie perspective, it's miserable. It's just jumping around. We go through like 90 minutes of nothing really happening for any sort of purpose other than to show that this guy is confusing, and there's not anything like entertaining going on. He's at a school board meeting and all of a sudden he's like, I need to go to Darth Vader's house, and then he shows up and he sees Darth Vader and he brings him back, and then they go to 1972 just because, and it's like it should be building to something that makes sense. And the climax of the movie is a little girl getting thrown off the bleachers by her uncle and choking on a hot dog moments after, like the 4th or 5th just senseless monologue of the movie where they're like, well, we have Darth Vader here, so let's let James Earl Jones just say this long drawn out speech about how great it is to have this field and how everybody's going to come from miles around to do. It's like, wait, what are we watching? And then he just gets bailed out by like I said, I cry like a baby at the end when he sees his dad and he has that catch. Every man who has lost his father wishes to one time be able to go back and have one last catch with their dad. It makes me bawl like a baby. I get that, but it didn't earn that. You had to sit through 90 minutes of just drivel and schlock. It's so just an exhausting experience to get to a moment that's beautiful, but it also like, it's a beautiful moment, but it's also a movie about a guy who is reconciling with his father. So like, you don't even have to need to reconcile with your father to appreciate that moment, because it's kind of lost. It's all about just being able to play catch with your dad one last time. My rant is over. Thanks for letting me commandeer the show, but I just had to get that off my chest.
Greg, I'm glad you did that. I want to say I disagree. Greg, I'm glad you did that. I want to say I disagree with you. I hear that your point is more so in the filmmaking and the kind of the narrative than it was like a bad experience. And I feel like my take was always that I enjoyed that experience. I enjoyed watching it, but I can hear your side that it's this in terms of story building and some of the things that don't make sense. But I think film is supposed to elicit a response, an emotional response, and I think it does it quite lovely in that last line there. It's the second best line of the movie. The first one is when Moonlight Graham says, "Hot dog stuck in the throat." I love that.
I laughed so hard when I saw that.
I'll say I find Field of Dreams just absolutely so bizarre in many of the ways that Greg says, where it's just not like, it's not clear that this movie is really it's trying to be about so many things without like, and it feels like all the stuff with Shoeless Joe Jackson is just kind of like thrown in there to give it a little bit of heft. cannot stand. I'll say this because in a former life I was a film critic and I taught film at university, so like I'm snobby on film or whatever. I will say, maybe to do some promo, I have a good friend, Carson Lund, who just had a baseball movie that premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in France. It's called EFIS. It's about like a community rec league on the last day of their league. It's like a mix of like Taiwanese art house film with the movie MASH. It's kind of incredible. I helped on a work print cut of it and gave some notes. And I think it's going to come out in the next year. So I'll say that's something to look forward to in terms of like a really good baseball movie that like is designed for sickos. Like if you read Roger Angel cover to cover, you will love this movie.
Nice. Okay. Well, Peter. Yeah, Cody, go ahead.
I was going to say, on the baseball movie front, there's two movies that I do like. I haven't seen very many baseball movies, I can't lie. I do like Moneyball.
Good.
I do genuinely like Moneyball. I think Michael Lewis, I mean, it's a good book. And God, who wrote the script? Was like Aaron I forgot who wrote the script for that.
Aaron Sorkin.
Okay, so Social Network guy. It is a good script. And then there's a movie called Everybody Wants Some by Richard Linklater. And I love that film.
Great
it's not
movie.
really about baseball. It's more about like the house and like they're not a frat, but the people there. There's a lot of great characters. And I just love Linklater films in general. But that's a very like not many people have seen that film. But I love Everybody Wants Some. That's probably my favorite baseball film.
It's I would say it's the most underrated baseball film out there. That one is so good. I absolutely adored that movie. So high recommendation. No free ads though. Sorry guys.
No free ads.
No free ads.
Nice. Okay. Well, Greg, thank you so much for getting that gripe off your chest. How about leads us to our next segment, which is a brand new one on the Twins Off Daily podcast, and that is Sweet Nothings. Music definitely indicates the vibe that I'm trying to go for with Sweet Nothings. We have Gregory's Gripes as a regular segment where the old curmudgeon up there in the top left corner talks about things that just absolutely bug him about baseball and the ballpark experience and all the things we hold so dear to our hearts that he just can't stand. But I'm going to go and from a different angle with Sweet Nothings, the little things about the baseball experience that bring us joy. And the one I'm going to go with today is parents, mostly dads that I've seen, who can catch foul balls while juggling their small child in their other hand and possibly a beer. I get so much joy from seeing them. It's the moment of a lifetime where they jump up. Sometimes these things are screamers off the bat. You know what I'm talking about? It's like 75 miles an hour off the bat, and they're catching it barehanded while holding a child. I find that to be so impressive. I can only dream of that moment for myself, and I will relish in it, and I cannot wait. But that's my Sweet Nothing for the week. It doesn't have to do with the game necessarily, more just about the ballpark and the going to a baseball game experience. But if you have a Sweet Nothing that you'd like to share with us, hit us up on Twitter at TwinsOffDaily or at SweetLouMN. Let us know what you're feeling, because we can't let Greg set the tone for every single week for us. Otherwise, we're going to go insane. Let's be honest. But
well, I'm already there, so I'll keep the water running. I do want to, like, we've all seen that one clip of the dad who had a beer in one hand, a child in another. He dropped the child, caught the ball, and then grabbed the child on the way down. Have we all seen this?
Yeah.
it's still an out. Still an out.
Like child protective services would have been called if he didn't pull it off, but since he did, he's a hero, you know?
It's none of my business.
Yeah, that can go south really quick. That can get bad really quick.
Yeah, that's true. This Sweet Nothing would evaporate pretty quick if that went south. So let's hope that they can keep using their dad's strength and they can keep impressing me, because I get so much joy out of seeing that.
I'm going to be quick with this one because I think the longer I explain it, the more insane or uncouth that I might sound. I hate sunglasses. I get upset when I see ball players wearing sunglasses. For those who aren't watching, Cody is actually falling off of the screen laughing, which really boosts my confidence. Thank you, Cody.
I didn't expect that sentence, you know.
it bothers the whatever expletive you want to insert into this sentence. It bothers the blank out of me to see people in sunglasses, and I know that it's completely it's unwell of me to be like this, and I have a problem. But like, you are too good to look at the sun. Like, there's a part of me that kind of hates ball caps. Like, oh, you need a visor. Like, what? Like, like you guys know that the first guy who showed up anywhere in a cap with a brim, like, he was despised. He was that jerk who was too good to look at the sun. And I'm kind of the same way about sunglasses. I mean, like, it helps you. Okay, so why don't you just have better eyesight? Like, why do you need this tool? Like, if you were really that good of a ball player, you wouldn't need these extra. Like, I know it's unreasonable. I know, but it just ticks me off. When I was a baseball player, I refused to wear sunglasses. I never lost a single ball in the sun. If we're being honest, if this really is my therapy session, I think part of the reason that I don't like sunglasses is because I have a weirdly shaped head, and I've never been able to look good in sunglasses. They always look goofy on me. The first time that I ever put them on, people pointed and laughed. So maybe it's just me not liking other people wearing sunglasses, but there is an arrogance to wearing sunglasses, if I do say so myself.
No, I agree with you 100%. Actually, I'm on the exact same page. I mean, I think,
really?
Yeah, I think looking into the sun, I think, saying that can hurt your eyes is a total lies too. I actually enjoy looking into the sun. Like, I make an effort to do
I think
it
you're picking on me.
Like, when I drive, I tend to look into the sun instead of the road. It just kind of like feels better, So just like, I agree with Greg. I think there's merit to not wearing sunglasses, definitely.
Well, we know when Cody's not on next week, it's because he ran over a bunch of people.
I mean, that gets me onto another thing. I don't like the flap in the car that you put down. What's that called? The visor? Or I don't like when people put that down. I've never in my life put it down. It annoys me. Like, why don't you just drive better?
I can't stand footwear. These modern ball players. Shoeless Joe Jackson, okay, Hall of Famer. He didn't need footwear. What's that about?
Except that Big Shoe conspired to kick him out of the league. Like, this has been a conspiracy from the top. Big Shoe has had it out for Shoeless Joe Jackson, Billy Maharg, and shoot, I can't think of the gambler's name. But it was all the CIA.
People need to know. It was Nike.
I don't think Nike existed. No. It's from the top. It's the CIA. First they came for Joe Jackson, then they came for JFK.
I hate facial hair. Which I'm gonna throw a question out there for you guys, and I want your answer. Which MLB franchise has the most World Series championships?
That's right. I love the Yankees rule. This is not like none of this is a bit, man. I love the Yankees rule.
Dumb when they
honestly, if you're gonna have facial hair, just wear a damn mustache. Like gentlemen do.
That's not going to save Alex Verdugo.
Yeah. Strowman has a nice mustache. I mean, like, if you're gonna have facial hair, there's a reason why you're not winning championships. It's because you have hair on your face.
Yeah, you know what? That's great. Okay, so I am out on facial hair. I am out on sunglasses. I am out on hats, and I am out on the little flaps that you push down when you're driving. All right. Well, that was Gregory's gripes. If you have a gripe that you'd like to air out, hit us up on Twitter, Twins Off Daily.
Speaking of facial hair,
Greg Masterson.
Boy, those gripes were fun, weren't they? Actually, you know what? While I have you guys here, I think it'd be kind of fun to peel back a curtain on a recurring bit that we do. So you might have heard me at the end of that clip say, "I am out," which is something that you might have heard all three of us say at different points. And if you've never heard the source of that, I want to turn this over to one of my favorite clips of all time from Judd Zolgad, who presciently was ahead of the Carlos Correa curve, declaring that he was out on Carlos Correa.
I am out on Carlos Correa.
Judd really is a legend in Minnesota sports. And so we thank him for that recurring bit. He was beside himself with the Carlos Correa saga before his second contract with the Twins. And it's been an earworm that we've never been able to get out of our heads. So thank you, Judd, for your contributions to the Twins Off Daily podcast. Okay, so we want to also thank some of our guests that we've had. So I've actually got a list and some statistics in front of us. So want to give a shout out to all of the Twins Daily contributors who have guested on this show. When we started it about a year and a half ago, it was very much helter-skelter. We weren't sure if we were going to be regulars on the show. We just knew that it would kind of be a fun project to get in on. And eventually we ended up kind of sticking around. But want to give a shout out to Jamie Cameron, Adam Friedman, Sherry Kearney, Melissa Berman, Brock Bosch. Oh, does he say Beauchamp or Beecham? I don't know. Brock Beauchamp. I think that's how it goes. Peter Labuza, Matt Trueblood, Tom Froming, Matt Braun. Shout out to Matt Braun, who was actually on the first episode. It was episode 0, jumped on with us to really try to navigate that nightmare. And then Theo Tollefson and Nick Nelson, who have both been on 4 times. So whenever one of them shows back up on the show again, it's going to be their 5th time, SNL 5-timer. Some other statistics I was doing. Cody Schoenman has been on 72% of episodes, 36 of the 50 thus far. Lou Hennessy has been on 47 of the 50 at 94%. And old Greg Masterson, your humble friend and narrator. Oh, geez, am I going through puberty again? Voice cracks. Old Greg Masterson has been on 48 of 50 for 96%. Some more statistics. The average episode is 55 minutes long with a mode of 56 and a median of 54. So Lou runs a tight ship. Actually, the average show the Lou hosts is 53 minutes, whereas old Greg Masterson's average episode that he hosts is 73 minutes. So, yeah, I talk a lot. And I've noticed that going through all of these clips, I need to talk less. So Cody, Lou, if you're listening, I apologize. But there has been one other one other host. Episode 1, Nick actually hosted. And that was 46 minutes long. And so Nick actually runs the tightest ship of any of us. The last statistic I wanted to throw out there is poor Tom Froming has been on 3 episodes, and we have averaged 80 minutes an episode, or an hour and 20 minutes, including a 1 hour and 43-minute episode about a year ago when Lou wasn't around to host. Cody and I cornered him, and we asked him a whole lot of questions. All right, so coming up next are some of our favorite interactions with different guests that we've had. So first, we've got an extended little back and forth that we had with Tom Froming at the end of his second appearance on the Twins Off Daily podcast. Followed that up with a quick one where Nick Nelson said something that we thought would just get us taken off the air forever, which is probably saying something for this show. Following that, this one might be one that you need to be watching the YouTube video for. We had Theo Tollefson on, 4-timer Theo Tollefson on, and he got violently ill during the middle of an episode and had to drop out. So if you actually watch the video, you can see it kind of crossing his mind or him realizing that he's probably not long for this episode. So highlighted that. It's a funny little scene that played out. Following that, we've got an iteration of the first time that we ever played Immaculate Greg, which was, I believe, on episode 2 or episode 0. I can't remember. It was one with Matt Braun on, and you could definitely tell that we were getting the kinks sorted out. So if you think we're awkward now, go back and listen to episode 1. There's a whole lot of blank space and a whole lot of Greg not doing a very good job at running the show. And then finally, we have the scene where Sherry tried to, I think she threatened to kill or have maybe, let's say, she asked whether it was worth it to have Trevor Larnach sleeping with the fishies.
Greg, do you remember last year before the meltdown, you tweeted like me and the boys marching to Target Field to hold the Twins accountable after the meltdown? We could actually do that this year.
Oh yeah, no, that would be awesome. Like we round up everybody at the meltdown. There's like a few hundred people there, and we march ourselves down to One Twins Way to teach them a lesson.
I'm not super comfortable with this conversation on January 7th.
Yeah. You know where my headspace is.
Well,
Can we give it a day, fellas? Can we give it a day?
Greg, I didn't have a lot of faith in your answer there, but you really pulled through with the face reveal tease. So I'm going to give that a thumbs up. Cody, Tom, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm big on the Greg face reveal. I'm a big advocate. I want it as soon as possible.
It looks quite different than it did last year, to be honest with you. Maybe I should show up to the Winter Meltdown with like different facial hair and haircut every single year. Maybe people won't recognize me.
Give Greg a free quesadilla again this year too.
There we go. All right, so Tom, what do you think? Thumbs up?
Yeah, I mean the Manny Magoo jersey really was winning me over. But I think actually they should do a contest where you have Greg and then like 5 other random dudes. And the contest is everybody in attendance has to try to guess which one is actually Greg.
That is fun.
Yeah,
that
would be awesome.
I'm going to bring my dad. He's going to have this gray beard and people are going to be like, I know it. I think I know.
Yeah, they'll be like a 21-year-old and like an 80-year-old. They'll be just like the entire range of possibilities.
The most different builds.
We've got one in every decade. Yes.
Yeah.
One guy's like 5'3", one guy's like 6'7".
Nice. That's great.
6'7" is kind of short, if you ask me.
You guys, this is a clean sweep. You all graduated from your hot seat. You get to keep your jobs. Congratulations. But you know what? I think 1 hour and 12 minutes is a pretty good length, and we probably need to be bidding adieu so that we can get to this Roki Sasaki signing with the Twins news that's going to break any minute here. Anything you guys want to plug real quick before we wrap the show up?
I want to say really quick. So 1 hour, 12 minutes. That's like 2 hours less than last time, right, Tom?
I warned you guys. If you guys get me on here, we're gonna push records.
I was on the 7-day COVID IL the last time Tom was on our show, and I'm pretty sure that episode wrapped up like yesterday.
I've got at least 45 minutes Mike Ford in me ready to go. Just throwing that out there.
Good to know. Save it for next
I'm
episode.
glad we're not getting to the walk-off question because I already forgot what it was. So.
Ooh, okay, real quick. Local billionaire that you think should buy the Twins. I'm going Sweet Martha.
Classic.
I gotta go Betty from Betty's Pies.
Betty's Pies.
Yeah,
very interesting.
up in Two Harbors there. They're pumping out the pies. If you could get a Betty, I mean that ties into the bringing the fans back. Betty buys the Twins, and then you can get Betty's Pies at Target Field. Like
sold.
Yeah, problem solved.
Awesome. Cody, anybody?
I was gonna do a whole bit, but I don't really feel like it anymore. I know my dad's a small business owner in Rochester. He owns Showman Boat Works. He could get enough people to maybe get some money. So I'm gonna say my dad.
Nobody's listening anymore, Cody. You can do a bit.
Okay. All right. So you guys know there was a election recently, right?
Yeah.
I missed that.
Okay, so the Republican nominee won. I forgot his name. But the Democratic nominee was Tim Walz. He was the vice president nominee, and Kamala Harris. So during their campaigning, they netted over $1 billion in fundraising funds. That's a lot of money. And notably, they lost the election. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota. He has local ties. Should Tim Walz and Kamala Harris buy the Twins?
Question mark? That's
okay, Comrade Cody.
Man
doesn't own a house. How is he gonna own a stadium?
All right. Well, Greg, what do you got?
I'm not very well versed on Minnesota billionaires. All I know of is the My Pillow guy, who I've learned is different than the guy who's on the billboards with his arms outstretched. I don't know, guys. This is
Lindell versus Lindahl.
You're going to eventually see Kyle Farmer come in to hit for one of those corner outfielders, move Castro into the outfield. Farmer would play second base, and there is going to be an absolute meltdown. And as a nihilist, I'm so here for it.
I can tell. I can't see you right now, Greg, but I can tell you got like a little vein bulging out from your temple.
It's like a Grinch smile that's playing out across his face right now.
Yes, exactly.
I just say also it was a little surprising that the Twins didn't get rid of Kyle Farmer because historically speaking, the Pohlads never missed an opportunity to displace a farmer.
Hey,
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Oh,
All right. Moving on. We got editing
this is
ability
our
on this.
podcast.
that's a good
You're
call.
gonna
That's
get
a
us
good
in
call.
trouble.
All right, here, how about this? Before we get in any more trouble, let's move on to our next segment, which is picks to click.
Just a better right-handed outfielder. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, and really, that guy might end up being Willie Castro.
Yeah.
If the infielders really shore up and really solidify themselves, if Correa, hopefully his plantar fasciitis, like I said before, is not too severe, if he can keep producing and starting regularly at shortstop, get Royce Lewis back in the mix, Brooks Lee needs to stay up. You're going to see Willie Castro still be used every day, and a lot of that's going to be in left field, I think. So I think that's going to be the best addition that they make.
Yeah, and Tom kind of threw it out on the last episode that if Willie Castro needs somewhere to play, if the infield fills up and Willie Castro's out in left field, all of a sudden now you have 3 guys for 2 positions in Wallner, Larnach, and Kepler, which that could result in possibly, Tom threw it out. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Tom threw it out that it's possible somebody like Max Kepler ends up getting shipped elsewhere because there's just a crunch in right field and DH. So, I don't.
Which is going to be an abbreviated version of picks to click.
Whoops, that's one. Lenny.
Producer
Oh, dear.
Lenny, unbelievable.
No, it's nope. There we go. That's still not the right music, Lenny.
You know what? But it was still mellow enough. And
there it is. I've got to have a talk to Lenny.
That's all right. He's usually a good boy. So, but yeah, let's talk about our picks to click here. Obviously, we're really. Unfortunately, our draft guru here, Theo Tollefson, had to exit. He was not arrested for robbing an orphanage like me. I already filled that bucket, but he had to leave to do some prep for tonight's draft. But
your favorite twin, who was a Marlin and fell inside of the nice trade Falvey category, you have 1 minute.
Okay.
Few options we could go with here.
So Arise is right off the table, right off the bat, because that's too obvious, right? I mean, we got to do better than this.
Too obvious. We need obscurity.
We need the most obscure.
Does Chris Valamont count?
Ooh, I think so.
I like that. Here's my thing. Technically, they didn't get him in a trade with the Marlins, but I do believe he was a Marlin. I think Sam Dyson would work there. Sorry to bring him up. I know that just harshed. I know that harshed the vibe.
Super fun.
His debut was against the Marlins as a twin, and he blew the game. So
I remember that.
Yeah, because he got off the plane, and they're like, "Hey, get in the game."
A guy with 2 hours of sleep, go pitch.
Yeah,
that was
so.
You have 10 seconds.
Oh shoot!
What about Lewin Diaz? Who isn't that? Who they traded for Sergio Romo?
Dylan Floro.
I'm sticking with Diaz. I like
Lewin Diaz is okay. Cool. A former Marlin who is all
right. Sherry, you are president of baseball operations, Derek Falvey. Everybody keeps producing as they have been for the entire season. So everybody's keeping, I know it's been kind of a roller coaster, but everybody's at roughly this level. And Royce Lewis is healthy. What roster move are you making to get him back on the major league roster with the Twins?
I'm like not even a thought. I'm getting rid of Larnach. I'm
getting rid of.
I'm not like on the roster. I'm moving him down. I'm, keeping him for my, July 5th date. I'm keeping him for my September trade time. I am moving Trevor Larnach out, and I am bringing Royce Lewis up. There is absolutely no question about that. Had you asked me 7 weeks ago, I probably would have said Miranda, but look at who showed up. Larnach is just not consistent enough for me to say that I think he's an asset that we need right now when I know that Royce is going to be up. Now, of course, Royce and Buck, they're hurt. They get hurt. Am I making the right decision? I'm not sure. And but I am going to throw away my iPad and my spreadsheet, and I'm going to look at the players that see ball, hit ball, and catch ball. That's what I'm doing.
Sherry, I hope you don't know anybody in the mafia. It sounds like you're out to kill somebody. It sounds like you're trying to get somebody off the map, and you want Trevor Larnach sleeping with the fishes, is what I'm hearing.
That's what happens when
you want to get rid of him. Okay, Sherry, we get you.
Watch out, Larnach.
All right. What do we think, Greg, Cody? Do we like that answer? She's on the hot seat. Is this going to tip her one way or the other?
Cody, you can go first.
So maybe a Kirilov IL move would make sense, but no, I agree with her. I think Larnach is the most reasonable choice right now.
All right, after that, want to once again thank the listeners. I actually want to give a shout out to a handful of listeners who I know have been listening, and I know you've been listening because you've been asking questions. So in alphabetical order, what I did is I just ran through our calls for mailbags or our calls for gripes, and I wrote down some names that popped up a few times. So I'd want to just give a shout out to Fried Bryson Beans, JD Kringle, Josiah Waldner, John, and we've discussed how we're going to pronounce your last name from now on, and we're going to pronounce it like Miguel Sano. So John Leno, Rai Lang, MV Prelip, and TC Nachos. I wanted to give a shout out to all y'all. I also wanted to give a shout out to some of our worst listeners. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to our worst listener ever, and that is Hank Prime Conger. Get out of here, man. I'd also like to give a shout out to our friend Wade Berglund, who is constantly asking me to show my face. He says, I can't take anything serious that Greg says seriously. If you need to go incognito, no respect. Wade also left a comment saying, I can't take anything seriously from Greg. You're too ashamed to not show your face. You have zero credibility. I've asked him why my ugly mug would make my takes more credible or not, but he has not responded. Also, Mark Joseph, for a while, was tracking our view counts and some of the funnier comments. 20 views, no comments, a 5th like after I clicked the thumbs up. What's going on here? And later he said 46 views and no one hit the like button. What's up with that? I mean, I have a few theories. I think that Mark is convinced that we need to get a little bit more attention. So thanks for your kind words, Mark. Wanted to share one story that Cody shared on the podcast where we had a friend, Silas, actually identify him at the ballpark. So we're going to play that clip real quick here now too.
I don't know what game specifically, but okay, well, I'll take it. So on the last episode, at the end, if you listen like an hour in, which I know everybody does who listens to the podcast, Lou said that, well, I said that I'll be at the 3-game series in Milwaukee, and then Lou told people to come and find me. I didn't necessarily greenlight that, but either way. So we did have somebody actually recognize me at the game. His name was Silas. So shout out Silas.
Shout out Silas.
Yeah, I was walking on, I was in the 400 level. I got tickets in the 400 level, and I was walking out of the stadium after the game, and this guy comes and walks up to me and points at me, and I'm like, I have no idea what I did. I really don't know anybody in Milwaukee, so I'm like, oh, who is
You're in trouble.
Yeah, and he was like, you're that guy from the podcast, and I'm like, yeah, Twins Off Daily. Do you listen? And he was like, yeah, I listen to every episode. I was like, wow, okay. So yeah, then we got a picture, and yeah, it was cool. So shout out Silas for finding me in Milwaukee.
Shout out Silas, friend of the
Silas
show.
Turkish? Is he Turkish? Does anybody know? Is he our Turkish listener?
Ooh.
I looked at his hairline, and it did not seem as. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know.
First of all, thank you for listening, Greg. You know you're a tremendous pain in the ass. But
I'm definitely not drafting Greg. Just leave it at that. I think that'll do.
Similar sweater, and I'll ask him next time. Are you going for the mid '80s Billy Crystal look? Because if so, good on you. Because if you ever run into mid '80s Meg Ryan,
that's right,
in the tunnel by the clubhouse, you never know who's going to be there. Celebrities are there all the time.
Lou's also hosting right now a Twins Daily Twins Off Daily podcast. Yeah. They only do it on off days.
They should come up with a more confusing title for the podcast, John. I think that's my number one recommendation.
Lou does a great job of hosting it. The last one was very,
like you said, it's him. It's fake name Greg Masterson.
Yep. Cody Shoneman.
Is that a real name or is that a pen name?
That's a real name. And then I know Rio's been on there. I know Nick has been on there.
Okay, wait. So advice for podcasters. Well, I don't really know the vibe they're going for, although Greg's involvement tells me insanity or chaos or something is the vibe.
Sure.
Now, speaking of John Bonus, whose voice you just heard cackling at Aaron's jokes, which were very rude, I wanted to share with you all some previously unreleased recordings of Sweet Lou and old Greg when we briefly flirted with the idea of doing the Twins Daily Dose, and John Bonus was on board. And so here's a couple clips from that episode that we recorded right after the Danny Coulomb signing, where, you know what, honestly, I feel kind of used. Now that John and Aaron on Gleeman and the Geek are doing video content, oh, I don't like that word, not content, video art, I feel like a little bit used because, as you can see in the clip, John was clearly just working through how to incorporate videos into podcasts while Lou and I were doing our darndest to keep the pod running. So here's a couple of clips from that have never been released to the public. Maybe someday we'll release the whole episode.
Open wide. It's time for Twins Daily Dose. I'm John Bonus of Twins Daily. With me, Sweet Lou Hennessy and Greg Masterson of Twins Daily. We're going to be talking about the events of the Twins on a daily basis, and today's event was the first actual move of the offseason for the Minnesota Twins. Is it November? No. Is it December? Not even January. It is December 5th, and on December 5th, the Twins made their first Major League free agent signing of the year, signing Danny Coulomb, a left-handed reliever who was on the Baltimore Orioles the last 2 years, but before that spent 3 years with the Minnesota Twins to a major league contract for reports are somewhere between $2.5 and $3 million to work out of the pen this year. Lou, Greg, let's get started. Before we dive into some of the details of Danny Coulomb or some of the things that we know about him, let's just get your first impressions of the signing.
You know what? I think it was meant to be. I feel like he was like, this was like a high school sweetheart relationship where he went off to college for a couple years.
It's like a Hallmark movie.
We had to figure out what who we were without each other, and now we're back together and we're ready to make magic again.
The big city boy is coming back to the Midwest, reunite with his long lost fling.
I like that.
Almost got snuffed out. I don't mind it. I would prefer at this point that it was, maybe a hitter right now. I think that he's a valuable piece. I'm excited about the bullpen, but it's good. It's good. It's not perfect, but I'd say I'm okay with it.
The big city boy discovered a couple of extra types of fastballs in the big city when he left us, and that's why he's coming back in part because he was so effective with the Orioles. So let's walk through a couple of things about Danny Coulomb. Primarily with the Twins, he used a fastball, but now he has a four-seam fastball, which is only 91 miles per hour, and a cutter and a sinker. So he's throwing three different kinds of fastballs essentially. Because he only has a 91 mile per hour fastball, he's also got an array of off-speed pitches that he uses. If you go and take a look at MLB and take a look at some of the clips of him, which we'll actually do right now, what you'll see is him striking out people on a slider and a knuckle curve a lot of the time.
I have a long-standing theory that lefties are just complete cheaters. They didn't earn it. They just got in on a technicality for being lefties. I was proven right, at least with the Twins pitchers last year.
You are right-handed, I take it?
I am right-handed, yes.
Okay, all right. I'm married to a partially left-handed, so I've got to be careful.
What does partially left-handed mean?
She started left-handed.
She's got 3 fingers left, is what it is.
That's right. Yeah,
Shout out Mordecai Brown.
And finally, let's show a couple clips from what we like to call end of episode shenanigans. It's everybody's favorite part of the podcast, and we're keeping it to the end here too. We like to say that you show up for our baseball takes, but unfortunately, I think most of you show up for the shenanigans. Well, let's just call them shenanigans. Anyway, here's a handful of clips that you'll remember. You'll remember if you've been listening.
Minnesota has struggled on both sides of the ball and hasn't won more than 2 games in a row since the middle of last August. That's from Jay Jaffe at Fangraphs.com.
Gosh damn it!
that does not give you like a lot of opportunity to catch your breath after plugging your nose. Minnesota has struggled on both sides of the ball and hasn't won more than 2 games in a row since the middle of last August. That's from Jay Jaffiette.
President's Day. Which U.S. president, real or fictional, do you think would be a good baseball player? I will start. I just saw. I mean, I call him Sweet Lou Varland anyway, but okay. Well, this was pretty fun. We will see if any of these actually hit for Cody, if any of his 17 hits. But I think this will be fun. I'm glad we typed these up. So this will be fun to keep track of. But let's wrap this show up here. Let's talk about our walk-off question. It's President's Day. Which U.S. president, real or fictional, do you think would be a good baseball player? I will start. I just saw the new Captain America Brave New World. Very mid. I would give it like a 40 grade on the 20 to 80 scale. But one of the bright spots was Harrison Ford as the president, and he turns into the Red Hulk. I'm not giving anything away. That's in the trailers there. So I'm going to say President Red Hulk would be a good baseball player. Greg, let's go with you. Any fictional or real U.S. presidents that you think would be a good baseball player?
I might need to bleep this out, but have you seen the spray chart on JFK?
Fuck. Ooh, too soon. That's tough. That is very tough. I'm gonna have to tap dance here because our other contestants are at a loss for words over that one.
I mean, he really sprays it.
was horrible, but it's good.
All over.
Everybody, Greg's last episode. Congratulations, his retirement episode. All right, I don't know how you're gonna top it. Nick, what do you got?
I'm going to go with good old Abraham Lincoln. Tall, probably a good pitcher, probably a good extension, and also 4 score. If you score 4 times in a baseball game, man, you're going to win a lot of games.
Damn, I thought you were going to make the exact same joke for Abraham Lincoln.
I have
woof.
class.
Yes, thank you. Woof. Cody, speaking of class, you're the class of this organization here. What do you got?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's good that Trump released the files on JFK because now we get the StatCast metrics on JFK's spray chart. So that's good. Regardless, I heard that Lyndon Johnson's related to Walter.
There we go.
I read that online in the QAnon boards I'm in. So
oh, man. All right. I'm not asking any more president-related questions ever again. You know what? Thank you very much for joining us on the Twins Off Daily podcast tonight. On behalf of Greg and Cody and Nick, I'm Sweet Lou Hennessy. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell your friends. Please keep listening to us here. Let's keep growing this fun little project we got going. And as always, everybody, stay sweet.
Thanks, everyone. Great job.
I just checked the Greg Media Guide, actually, and if you haven't bought the Greg Media Guide and read it, you might not know that there is a 2-page write-up on which side different players on the Twins would take when the Civil War breaks out over DC fans versus Marvel fans. Royce Lewis, a big Batman fan, Carlos Correa, a big Marvel superhero fan. And so I went down the roster and I sorted them out into which side each would take. And I predicted that Jose Miranda, I'll read my rationale. I know that we've always joked that eventually this show is just going to be me reading excerpts from the Greg Media Guide, and now it's happening. I said that Jose Miranda would be a Team DC guy, and his rationale would be, I can't really put my finger on it, but I feel like he thinks Gal Gadot is really, really hot. And that's the only information that would lead him to choose Team DC. Anyway.
Not Gal Gadot.
My prediction is Jose Miranda really Cody, you're making it really hard for me to be nice to you right now and not make the obvious jokes. You got really sulky about 30 minutes ago, and now I feel like I can't make fun of you.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead, say it.
All right, comrade. Do you have any reason why you're not a big fan of Gal Gadot?
I have no specific
Anyway, my rationale as to why Jose Miranda hurt his hand, he was doing knuckle push-ups.
Oh, the dreaded knuckle push-up. That is a good one.
Never know what could happen when you're doing knuckle push-ups, you know?
Never know.
I do like Natalie Portman.
Good to know, Cody.
Okay, okay. This is...
Good to know.
Can we mute Cody before he says something?
Cody is getting D'd FA from this show, so pack your bags, pack your locker, Cody. Okay,
He's getting something DF.
Yeah, close.
No. Wait, I am getting DF.
Lou, cut it. Cut the show. Play the music.
And stay sweet.